Pianist Lang Lang is considered to be the classical music superstar of his generation. He recently graduated from the Curtis Institute of Music in Philadelphia, where he studied with Gary Grafman. His newest CD is called Tchaikovsky-Mendelssohn First Piano Concertos. It was recorded with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, led, of course, by Maestro Daniel Barenboim. I'm pleased to have Lang Lang at this table for the first time to talk about a remarkable life as a prodigy and one whose musical career continues to receive extraordinary reviews. Welcome.
Thank you, Charlie.
It's good to have you here.
Pleasure.
You know, to look at you, I mean, you look like any other 21-year-old who might be out playing sports, but in fact, because of this remarkable music, you have to be reasonably careful what you do with your hands.
Yeah, but I do play ping pong.
You play ping pong.
Yeah.
Now, how about you like Tiger Woods? Do you play golf?
Of course.
Of course you do. You play golf.
I love to.
But you love basketball, too.
Yeah, I love to.
But you have to watch that because it can hurt your hands.
I can only kind of exercise by myself, but I cannot really play.
Play by yourself, but not in a game in the rough and tough. Yeah. When did you first start?
I start to play, to improvise at piano.
Just sit down at a piano.
Yeah, when I was 2 years old.
2?
Yes.
Now, your father, it should be said, was what?
My father, who plays Chinese instrument, who's a wonderful Chinese musician.
Yes.
Plays an instrument called erhu. That means 2 strings Chinese violin.
Yeah.
And I remember the first thing my parents, when I was 2 years old, they used to bought a big monster, came to my little apartment, and they told me, this is a piano. And but in that time, for me, it's like a toy. I didn't really think it's it's an instrument or anything. I know it's a cool thing. And
with all these great genes, musical genes that you had, did they push you, or did they simply have that piano there so that if you wanted to sort of fool around with it, you could? Yeah,
because during the same time, the piano was there, and my parents actually showing me lots of beautiful music in the radio, and and my father also play for me. And they didn't really push; they just kind of
from within you, the interest came.
Yeah,
and that's the best way to do it, I guess.
Absolutely, it's much more. It's much better than parent push, and you need to like it.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you do, you need to like it.
In order to put in the hours it's necessary, you have to love it.
Yes.
And you're more likely to love it if you come to it yourself.
Absolutely. Like, that's exactly what happened to me, that the music made me happy, made me joy, and I just want to be a great pianist.
And you loved the piano.
Yeah.
Even then.
Yeah.
Practiced 7 hours a day for a long time.
Not when I was 2 years old.
Well, how long before you started practicing 7 hours a day?
I started play 4 hours when I was 6 and 7.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
And a little bit more hours when I was 7, 8 years old. And
when did somebody say you could be great?
I remember that when I was 5 years old, I played my first competition. Then I won the first prize. Then I played my first recital. Public recital. So after that concert, and the audience, and also my professor at my hometown conservatory in Shenyang.
Shenyang,
pretty big city, 7 million people.
Right.
And
not very far from Hong Kong.
Pretty far.
It's in the north.
Yeah, it's not far from Beijing. But
Beijing.
Okay. And so the people there, the professional musicians, and they all think that I have the talent. The thing, and then they asked me, do you feel nervous on stage? And I said, no, I just feel so comfortable. So then they told my parents, this is really kind of, he's really talented.
He has a talent that we need to nurture.
Yes.
And you loved it all along.
I just loved it.
Yeah. You won most of the competitions you entered.
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah. But until 13, I never joined the competition again.
When did you develop a taste for certain composers?
I think that because I must say I have a pretty good ear. I mean, and when I was little, I listened to a lot of Mozart. And that kind of developed me to taste music. Like you're eating music, or you put music in your mouth, and to, you drink a wine. Now I'm 21, I can start drinking a little bit. And So and the great music is always very emotional, very connected to you, and it shouldn't be that hard to think. Because many people think music is very hard to make or something. It should be really natural. Then, if you feel natural, then you understand music. Of course, that you need to also study what's going on in the background and what's going on musically, harmonically, and melodically. But in the same time, that if the music you feel really close to it, it shouldn't be hard to find the way to interpret that piece.
At 21, is your learning curve continuing to slope very high so that you continue to learn enormous amounts?
Absolutely.
Mainly about the composers or about the act of performing?
I think for me, because I had some really good experience of performing on stage from early age. But now I think the more thing I learn should be more inside the music and what's
interpretation.
Really, interpretation comes after you understand the music. You need to respect the composer. That's the main key.
Yeah.
Because you are playing their piece. Then you understand this composer, this great music. Yeah. Then you start your own thoughts and the personal approach.
Daniel Birnbaum is a great pianist.
Yes.
What have you learned from him?
I think that the things I learned from Maestro Birnbaum is not only the technique stuff. The more importantly is how to understand the music and how to open a different thinking of a same piece. And I just really, and also the touch, or the pedaling, because as you know, violin, they have a bow, right? Yeah. And the piano, our magic is pedal, because we can make pedal to make sound soft. We can push pedal to changing color and also to sustain the sound. That's make sing. So that's the magic. So when you hear the great piano like Horowitz or Rubinstein or Rachmaninoff, you see they have a superb technique, not only here, but
with
only,
the pedal.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can play pretty good football also.
Soccer.
Soccer,
Yeah.
Or a good driver.
Yeah. Did you do anything to make sure you can do that? So do you practice, or I'm not practice, but do you do exercises so you can handle the pedals well?
I mean, there's one good exercise you can do is play organ. As you know, organ is the instrument that you have a hand play and you have a foot playing. So.
Are you going to go on? Tell me what you're doing in your career right now.
There's two very big, and also two big goals for me to get.
Right.
For me, playing concerts, I just enjoy every day. I mean, and it all comes really well. And I've been invited to play all the world great orchestras and the recitals. And my Carnegie Hall debut recital, it's November this year. And I'm really looking forward to that.
When's that?
November the 7th.
November 7th?
Yeah.
Carnegie Hall.
Carnegie Hall.
Doesn't get any bigger than that.
But I played several times before, but this is the recital debut.
But this is your recital debut?
The recital debut. Yeah.
For Carnegie Hall?
For Carnegie Hall. Yeah,
wow.
Solo. And then, but the more importantly is that there's two things which I like to really play for the kid, for the young people, for the teenagers, to kind of inspire them to play piano and to play classical music, because I think it's really an important thing for them to use to the sound and to have knowledge of, because it's a very knowledgeable thing.
There is some worry, and I'm not sure how substantial this is, but there's always been some worry that the classical music audience is older and older, getting older, and that classical music has the imperative, if not the responsibility, to reach out to young people so that they bring them in.
I think that we need to do not only just, I mean, we cannot just have the attitude that say that, you need to come to our concert. It's not that. You need to educate them. You need to come to the school.
Yeah.
And this afternoon, actually, I did something like that, and to play and for them and to explain what's happening in the music, and also to talk the stories like 300 years ago, or like the Bach time or the Beethoven time. But in the same time, you need to connect with the modern things happen, which is in the 21st century. What we are happening every day? What movies connect to this piece? So you make the time, difference you bring the time together, and because the big problem is that the young people think, oh, classical music is old, it's 200 years old, it's 300 years old, the composer already passed, why we listen to them? So that's the wrong thing, because it's a really great music, and we need to bring the composer as they are walking the street, like, hey, Ludwig, or, hey, Peter,
Mozart, Wolfgang.
Hi, Wolfgang. It's like kind of that kind of feeling. So, and another goal for me is to bring more Chinese culture, Chinese music to the world stage, to kind of bring more Eastern music to the U.S. and the European stage, and to kind of because since my father also plays, so sometimes we always play together on stage, and we play some transcription of the traditional music into that.
Is he coming to the recital in November at Carnegie Hall?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I bet. This is your new CD, as I mentioned. Look, Lang Lang, Barenboim. Not bad. In between, in small letters, Tchaikovsky, Mendelssohn, First Piano
We
Concerto.
should call them. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you and much success.
Pleasure.